to find you in a minute.
Okay, welcome back to part 2 of CopaLoadofRacing's Cheltenham preview. We've done the novice races, now we're going to look at the big championship races and start off with Tuesday's feature, which is the Champion Hurdle. Which, see, a couple of months ago, this race looked like it was just going to be Bouvardere. But now we've had Apple's Jade throw itself into the mix, and the decision to put Larina in this race rather than go for the Mayor's Hurdle, which is great. If I could put my piece in first here with Bouvardere, never been a fan of this horse. I know it's a 2-time champion hurdler. Doing the hat trick is always very difficult. Not a lot of horses can do it. It was beat in the Christmas hurdle by Verdana Blue.
Put my money on it.
And my brother's as well. I had to resuscitate him outside the pub in Boxing Day. I think you had to remortgage his flat. So, do any yous want to put a case for Bouvardere?
No, I just think it's hard. It's silly talking about it like this, but I just think it's so ungenuine. It's just you just don't know what you're getting from one race to another.
Too inconsistent, too much
Absolutely.
for a horse. For the bet, the odds that it's got, it's nowhere near where it should be.
And I think the renewals that it's won previously, it's beat the likes of My Tenor Viewers and stuff like that. I don't think it's come across a real high class hurdle.
It's not beat any horses at that time before, you know. I don't feel.
And, you know what I mean?
On their day.
I credit it, you know what I mean? It's been well, you know, Nicky Henderson's placed it well through the years, and it's done what it's had to do. But I think, in the case of the two Irish raiders, Apple's Jade and Larina,
my money's in Larina. I just think that it's got something about it that it's going to take it, and
I think it might benefit Larina as well because it's a mare. It's getting the weight allowance, which is massively beneficial. I'm a massive fan of Apple's Jade.
Me too. They're an early an easy lead because they've got a good front runner, and it's always hard bigging them back coming up that hill.
Exactly, and
it's a fascinating race. Fascinating race.
It's cutting up really well now, and I was, as I say, a few months ago, I didn't think it was going to be one of the most disappointing Grade 1s on the whole 4 days. But now, with the fact that Apple's Jade has shown its class this season, and Larina has been well campaigned, and thankfully Connections have decided to go for this champion hurdle because I think they see a chance here. You know, who's to say next year's novices that are going to run are they going to come on really well, and the champion hurdle's going to be an absolute minefield next year. This is a massive chance, I think, for one of these three. I don't see anything beyond this three winning it, but Apple's Jade for me, I would be keen on greatly.
Up in the air still because I like Larina. I like it. I've watched it. I've followed it. You've always got the genius on board as well. No, it's fascinating.
No, it's really
toss of the coin for me.
It's going to be a great race, and I think Bouvardere will be there or thereabouts. It always, you know what I mean, like when it get beat at Kempton, but when you look at the horse that beat it, Verdana Blue, don't get me wrong, it was unseasonably good ground on that day, and Verdana Blue likes good ground. You know, if it's even, Nicky Henderson has said that even if it's going to be soft ground on Tuesday, Verdana Blue will probably still run. It had a wee spin in Kempton the other day in a flat race to get it prepped, but yeah, I'm all for. And the other fact is, I think is Nicky de Bonville went with brain power rather than Verdana Blue.
I think he has.
As a sort of indication to see what he thinks, and I think that's down to ground more than anything else. But for me, I would love to see Apple's Jade win it, but Larina, I think, will be there or thereabouts. I think it's going to be a fascinating race. I don't see anything at a bigger price. Anybody? Merlin,
Larina,
Sharjah.
I think Merlin's. I don't think he's got the quality, the class anymore to win the race. I'd say Larina. That's from my own view on. I don't know why, but I seem to think there's going to be an outsider finish in place, Silver Streak.
Right, okay.
It's been placed at Cheltenham this season. I know the ground might not suit it, but something's just telling me it'll be there or thereabouts towards the end of the race, and it might have a bit of influence on who might win it. But I would say that Ryanair is where my money would be for the race.
Okay, no worries. Ryanair. Toss of the coin, start making a decision.
I won't leave Ryanair.
Right, okay, I'll say I'll proceed. Right, moving on to Wednesday's Champion Chase. We have the odds on favourite here, Altior. Now, in the bet at the moment, you have Min and Footpad. Now, there's a strong chance, particularly Footpad, sorry, I think we'll be going for the Ryanair. I think that's fair to say, and probably Min as well. I think Altior's scaring off a lot of horses here. Undesol is there, stuck it up to Altior in the Tingle Creek, but he came out second best. Did we see anything?
Nah, I think Altior's going to scare a lot of the major competition away to other races, and I just don't see it getting beat.
No.
Unless there's a major.
He did. Let's look back at last year's race. He did hit flat spot, and a lot of people. He went drifted in bed running. You know what I mean? I personally thought he was beat, but he just produced again.
It's the hill that brings it in.
Because to me, he is a horse that could easily run in a King George or a 3 mile. No sense in a Gold Cup. I think that would stretch him too far, but he could easily win a Ryanair or without a shadow of a doubt. But he's one of these 2 milers that's got a touch of stamina about him, which I think we need for this race.
If I was going to do anything in this race, I'll bet without Altior. Some of them are off on that, and I would go with Undesol to go and maybe the jockey just to ride a wee bit more conservative.
Yeah.
Get it placed money.
I think you're right. I think I've did this before. Bet without the short price favourite. I think it's a good bet. You can get good value. If I was, it's difficult to say. I don't. Politolog has got terrible Cheltenham form. I agree. Undesol is probably a horse without Altior.
Min.
If he goes, I think he'll probably go in the Ryanair. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So Royale with Alan King, again, they've not got enough class. God's Own, I think he's got decent Cheltenham form, but I think I'll bet without Undesol. Okay, right. Moving on to Thursday and Ryanair Chase, the race that kinda is the one in between that and the Gold Cup. Frodon, just to confirm, looks likely to go to this race rather than the Gold Cup, which I think is a sensible decision by the Nichols team, considering how that race is turning out and considering how the ground may be as well. Footpad is in there, Mona Lee is there, but I think that now looks, the indications coming for connections is that that's going to go to the Gold Cup. You've got Road to Respect, Min, Undesol, but again, is Undesol going to go to this or the... with these double entries, it can be very difficult to confuse.
You see Millen's putting both in this race.
And so, with
Min and
Undesol,
would the race to them against each other, or do you think he's got a better chance of winning 2 races if he splits them?
I think he would, but with Altior being the big
that's what
elephant in the room in regards to the champion
That's
chase.
why I asked about Min.
He may, you know, I mean, there's always a chance going back to the champion chase that something might happen in that race and you scoop it up like Undesol can do. I would say Undesol would be, he's more a speed horse to me, but Min took on Altior last season, wasn't it? It was Min that went to and I thought Min was coming to win it, but Altior just...
I've got Min to win this.
Min, yeah.
I think if it's declared, I think he can beat Undesol and the rest of the field. I'm hoping he's declared for the race, obviously, but yeah, I fancy Min for this one. I just don't know if Mullins will put Undesol to another race, just to split.
It is up in the air.
Just sitting here stunned, Gary, that you only mentioned you and mine's favourite.
Top notch. I was going to come to that because he is also declared for the Stairs hurdle because he's had a spin round hurdles at Ascot. I'll come to that in a wee minute, right?
Yeah.
My issue about Footpad, by the way, is I think his jumping is suspect. He's a classy horse, but he's been beaten by Simple and Ed. He fell. He's fallen this season as well. He's one of these horses that looks great. At times he can stand off a fence, and I think there's a great picture of him in Ireland standing off a fence and getting to the other end side of it. But he takes a chance at his fences, I think. And Cheltenham, if it is a big field, then yeah. But Cheltenham, I think, would finds out horses. I think Cheltenham finds out horses with any issues about jumping.
Yeah.
So, top notch. Let's make the case for top notch then, Peter.
Well, I like it. I always like it. He'll be there or thereabouts, I think.
Aye. Whether he's at his best at Cheltenham, that's my concern. He jumps well around the likes of Sandown, does really well there. I like him. I remember backing him a few years back in the Triumph when he finished behind Peace & Co. I actually had that as a
3 years.
Hargam, Henderson had the first 3 in that race. He's nice and he's a beautiful jumper, and Darryl Jacobs thinks the world of him. I would love to see it, Peter, and I will have a wee, whatever race he wins
I'll have a wee nibble on him, and I'll have a wee nibble on Frodon.
I think Frodon keeps showing.
I'm not backing big in this, but I'll be a wee nibble on both of them.
I think Frodon's got a hell of a chance. Do you know, Stuart? No?
It's not one I've looked at, to be honest, but you know,
it did seem it might have been in the Gold Cup.
Yeah, it's one of the ones. What race does it run in?
I think the way Paul Nicholls was talking yesterday, it looks definite that he'll go for the Ryanair.
Yeah.
Because of the way that.
And you look at Brian Frost because the jockey for it, so you know it might.
I think it dependent if they allow Brian out front on her own, which I think was always the case about the Gold Cup. Native River would have been in front in the Gold Cup and Brian would have got her own way, and it might have just pushed Frodon on too much, and definitely would have beat.
More and more the women are coming to the fore in this meeting. It's no bad thing.
No, it's good to see Brian and
women jockeys out there, Bridget Andrews for the Skelton team. There's some good jockeys out there. Lizzie Kelly.
Just like this year.
More and more they're coming to the fore.
The experience this year will do them great stuff.
Brian Frost has shown herself
potential for next year. I think she can do great things.
And she even after she lost her allowance, Paul Nicholls and all the connections were still very keen to use her. And she's proven that this year on Frodon, winning on trials day with Frodon, and she gets on really well with the horse. She's a great character as well. She's very media friendly. She likes to and it's not just being media friendly. I don't think it's easy to talk to the media. But she's very informative as to how that. And Lizzie Kelly can be the same. She can relay as to how well the horse
behind the scenes from her dad as well.
Exactly.
He was an underrated jockey, Jimmy Frost.
Won the Grand National.
Good advice behind the scenes.
I just think next year I can see Brian Frost doing major things at Cheltenham. I just Min this year I think is going to win this race.
Right, no problem. Right, I'm just a bit urgent falling off the table. Right, let's look at the other big race on Thursday, which is what's called the Stairs Hurdle now, to Stuart's disappointment. It's the World Hurdle, as many as know. I think it was known as something else prior to the World Hurdle, wasn't it? I think it was. Anyway, right, we have Paisley Park at the head of the market at 7-4. The Fortin the Machine, as it's called in some parts, particularly by some guy that works for ITV Racing and Sky Racing. Super Sundays in there at 8, Bacardi's 14s, Black Hawk 14s, Kilbrickin Storm at 14s as well. Top Notch is in this race as well at 16s, but we'll see where that goes later on in the week. Right, Paisley Park. I think Emma Lavelle, the fairy tale. The owner is a guy that gets the race related. Well, he doesn't like being told how because he's blind, but he doesn't like being told by others. He wants to listen to the commentator because it's a more informed commentary, whereas those around him can maybe give him a false opinion on what is actually happening in the race. But yeah, I think it would be a fantastic story for Paisley Park to win. I think he's performed exceptionally well this year.
Yeah, I think he has. Yeah, it'd be. This is the one that will get the tears flowing. If this does come off, this will be the one that gets.
Big cheer.
As you said, the owner blind from birth, and the thing I love about him is that he actually cheers the horse on signing, which I think's amazing. It's fantastic to watch how excited he gets, and he's actually, while everybody else is cheering out, he's actually signing the cheering. But yeah, he's at the top of the market on merit.
Oh, definitely.
He's done everything that's asked from him.
The thing I think which is interesting is, you know, with this year with a lot of the races, we don't get to see, particularly in this field, a lot of pre-races where, okay, you have the likes of the Cleeve Hurdle and so on, but the Irish Raiders never really come over for a lot of these races, so we don't get to see how that backs up against the Irish form. But to me, Penhill's not in the race, last year's winner. For him, it's a shot in the dark for me with this horse.
Yeah, right.
And I think what's not, apart from being when it won the Champion Hurdle very well, over 2 miles, there's two question marks. One, stamina. 2, jump, because he's made an arse in a lot of he's jumping since. So there's so many question marks for him, but he has got class. But is it good enough to beat the likes of Paisley Park, who's an out and out stayer?
Yeah, I think Ruby Walsh might have a lot to say about that, but my money's on Paisley Park, and I'm a bit surprised Super Sunday's not in the Champion on Tuesday, but I can see that maybe getting an each way bet in a place, but I don't really see anything getting past Paisley Park in this race, to be honest.
No. If I was going to have an each way punt, I would say Bacardi's, because he's got stacked on Cheltenham form.
I like that.
I think that's a decent punt each way. Apart from that, I don't see anything else really. Super Sunday, I think 3 miles is more up its street now than Champion Hurdle.
The odds are very, very short for an each way bet, I get that, and I think that's probably why, because he's got the record of being placed and been up there. Whether he can beat Paisley Park, I highly doubt, unless something happens in the race. But Paisley Park's, I can't see past it.
It's another race I'll just watch, and
I would say to me Paisley Park's going to be the horse that I'm going to have, and that day, if I've got a lucky 15 win on, he'll be for me. I have done an anti-post in double, pardon me, and Paisley Park and Tiger Hill on my 2 that I'm going to go for on that. Okay, again, can come to that later. Right, finally, on regards to the Cheltenham, the big races, we'll come to the big race of the whole 4-day meeting, and that is, of course, the Cheltenham Gold Cup, where we have in the betting at the moment Clandazobo at 4s with presenting Percy also at that price, Native River at 5s, Ken Boy 10s, Bells Hill 14s, Mike Bite 14s, Album Photo 16s, along with Thistle Crack 20 to 1 bar those. Right, can I start off with the horse that's came to the head of the market over the past few weeks, and that is Clandazobo. Is this really? I'm surprised it is, but because it's won a King George, does it merit being favourite?
No.
I put my money on it yesterday.
Did you?
Mr. Nichols coming out and saying stamina will only be an issue was the last week, and a doubt I had in my mind.
But did he not say that? Did he know? And playing devil's advocate here, Peter, did he not just say that about Frodon as well after he won it? And then he basically turns around yesterday and says, Frodon's better with the Ryanair because stamina's an issue. Whereas 2 months before that, he was kind of saying Frodon, nah, it's fine.
Before the King George, we were picking holes in them, and he came and he hammered them. So
I don't think the ground's going to suit.
I have to say, if I go back to the King George, it was a bizarre race in my view.
It was a
bizarre race, you know. Apart from anything else, the horse I backed fairly early on, so my interest went out the window pretty quickly. But do you know what? I remember we back to the Betfair chase at Haydock, and I remember thinking Clan de Zobo was overpriced that day, and he ran well behind Bristol de May, who demolished the field. But I think when you look back, Cheltenham form with Clan de Zobo, it's patchy to say the least.
Okay.
I think you need an out and out steer to win this race nowadays. Really do. And you think back on some of the winners, Native River, although it's not ran this season, I think it's capable of coming into this race fresh.
I think the ground suits Native River a lot more than any other horse in the race. And my money will be on Belsill. It missed the festival last year. It was third the year before. I just think it deserves it. I just think that it deserves it. I think it's going to go and win the Gold Cup for Mullins this year.
Mullins hasn't won the Gold Cup before.
I know. And
is that worrying? Is this another Jack Adam?
No, I just think it's Jack Adam. You can say what you want about the horse. I just think that Belsill's he's got the potential to win it. Bit of luck. The ground, I know it suits other horses, but I can see.
Listen, I agree with you. I've backed Belsill anti-post for this race.
So I can see it.
My thinking about it, he's won the Irish Gold Cup, which it doesn't stand for a lot because last year the winner of the Irish Gold Cup it was a Joseph O'Brien horse, Ed Lover. I can't remember the name of it, but it fluffed completely. And I sometimes got into that line of thinking isn't the greatest. One of the things, as I said earlier about an out and out steer, Belsill, when I think back, I think he finished 5th in the Irish Grand National last season. And then think back that he could have won it, so stamina's not going to be a problem. What's your tip for it?
If I'm taking, obviously as I said, I've put a bet on. If I'm taking that out, I've got to go to the Native River. For the reasons I've mentioned earlier, you've got Mr Johnson on board. The ground's coming good for it.
Yeah.
He's proven his stamina coming up the hill. Everything's tick for everything. It really is.
And you're not worried about the fact that he's not had a race. He had to obviously miss the assignment at Newbury because of the equine flu issue. And then did he take up the assignment at Ashfield when that's not a problem for you? Let's be honest, he did win last year off the back of just one run.
The freshness will help him, I think.
In regards to, we're missing one big horse who's been favourite, technically, all through Present Percy, who again has only had one run this season, that was over hurdles, won pretty well. Do you think the price is maybe extended a little, just down to the fact that he's not had that other run in him?
Yeah, it could well be, No,
he won well last year at Cheltenham.
He's a good favourite, he really is. Good favourite.
What about if we could look, right, so we've covered that. Ken Boy's the other Mullins horse in this. He's done nothing wrong this season, just keeps on winning. But my issue with that, particularly if the ground's going to be soft, is whether he can see it out this stamina.
It's a journey for Ken Boy.
That's my issue with that horse. Might bite after what happened to him last year, and he's not done anything this year to prove anything now. Now, Thistlecrack's a horse, right, that people have been that run in the King George behind Clan de Zobo.
I like it. I saw something the other night there, Joe Tizard talking about it, and he reckoned that the Gold Cup, the King George came a bit too early for it, but they needed to get a race into it. So all in all, they were quite delighted with it. He keeps surprising us. We thought he would go on. He keeps surprising us.
He does, and I've always been a fan of Thistlecrack, and I've backed it a few times when I shouldn't have. But Yeah, I think he's got some grounds for optimism to run into a place. Exactly. I think if he's ridden with a conservative sort of and can pick up the pieces for anything at the front, I wouldn't say that he's going to beat his stablemate in Native River.
He's not a good jockey on it, isn't he?
Aye.
He talking about surprises though. Yala Enki. I know it's an old toast, it's been there, it's done it.
That's a good
I
one.
think if
Yeah,
it
he's
runs,
going to run.
there's a lot of horses when he's put it into, but I think he can get a place. It's way outside, but he's got the experience and
anybody that follows this blog will know I've put Yala Enki up as my anti-post tip for the Grand National if the ground is soft.
For the National.
Aye.
That's
Because
it's
it's one in a bog at Haydock and all that, and I get that. And this race in previous years has been used as a threat for the Grand National. You think like Simon Moman, that Hedge Hunter has run well in this race, quietly going on to run really well in the Grand National. I can see where you're coming from.
I think it's at the right age. You know, it might not win it, but I think it's going to be there.
I don't think he's got the class to win it, right? There's a few in this that like I credit you if it's really tough going.
Yeah.
Yala Enki will plod up that hill.
Yeah.
As good as any of them.
Yeah.
Aye. Ralph Binden's in the race, and that's my other anti-post tip for the Grand National. Particularly now after winning the Bobby Joe. But
Elegant Escape in the bay.
that's
Rain suits,
Colin Tizard, he's gone down the old Native River route of winning the Welsh National and coming on to this. And Frodon, when Frodon won in Trials Day, it was Elegant Escape that was chasing him up that hill. And that race is just over a furlong and a half shorter than the Cotswold Chase is to this race. Elegant Escape would have caught him.
Who'll ride this then, guys? Elegant Escape, who'll ride that first?
Tom O'Brien. Jockey at the moment.
Yeah, good.
I've no questions about that. Tom O'Brien's
Absolutely.
a consistent and good enough jockey. Any others? I agree. I think Elegant Escape's your each way punt in the race without a shadow of doubt for it. I think if it's going to be soft on Tuesday, we're not going to get drying ground between then. There's going to be rain all through.
Your wind's going to help.
Aye,
I think depending how big your wind
even then it'll be dead. The ground will probably be dead, sticky. Aye. So Elegant Escape's got a hell of a chance. Annabelle Fly ran well last year in this race and ran up the hill well.
But last year was a chance. I don't know if it's going this year.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to pick out and make a case for anything else? Which for final decision on the Gold Cup? I'm Bells Hill, but I agree with Peter. Elegant Escape each way value. At the moment it's 25, but I think that price will shorten absolutely within the next couple of days.
Bells Hill, if the ground's going well, Native River can do it again. But I've got to go for
Yala Enki each way as well for you. If the ground
each way, yeah, but in terms of
declared for the race as well.
Yeah.
Got Clandizovo, I've already put my money on.
And your money's down.
Elegant Escape.
Okay, rightio, no problem. Right, one last wee thing is looking at any other wee tips for the race in terms of the handicaps or any other races that we haven't covered. I'll stick in Matthew the new. I have a right to. Looking at Tuesday, the declarations were made. As I said earlier on, I think Mick Channing has a great chance with regards to having two winners on the first day with Glen Rosa and then Mr. Whittaker in the Ultima. I won this one last year, and I think it's a horse that's never out the places, and it seems to really enjoy Cheltenham. So I think, and he's well handicapped still. I think he's still well handicapped to make an impression. And another cross country, I think Tiger Row was stick on, really do. He's running off the same weight as every other horse in this because it isn't a handicap. He's shown already this season that he's no ill effects from that Grand National win. Can't see it getting beat. And another, I'll say, whether it runs in the Coral Cup or the County Hurdle, Willie Mullins Whiskey Sour should run well. Seem to get, we were talking off air about canny rides. This horse had a canny ride last time out, which hasn't affected its handicap mark, shall we say. So I think he'll go to Cheltenham with a really good shout. Peter, anything?
Don't ask me why I'm going for this, but I'm going for this, the Brown Advisory play. I'm going to, right? This is where I fancy Spirit of the Games, which I've mentioned already hugely, for Dan Harry Skelton. He gave £7 to Kildesart, and only gave me 2 lengths, and Kildesart's 10-1 for the JLT. You'll get it at 10-1 just now. I think it's great.
Money down?
Yeah. And the other one from theirs is Mohamed, which is written by Bridget, his girlfriend, Dan's girlfriend, and it's in the county on Thursday, and they reckon it's flying and training. So they're my 2.
Right, okay. That'll definitely get into the county, you think? Where is it in the handicap? Alright,
I think
that
so.
should be right, okay. No worries, so 2 there from Peter. Any others? No?
I've got one.
No.
Sorry.
Right,
I had Chase Tuesday. I know it's not ran at Cheltenham before, but Atlanta Blaze.
And 4 miler.
Yeah, I just think it's a good bit of talk about the horse. You know, it's one in February. Just think he can stay out and it's his debut, but I think it can stay on and win the last race on Tuesday.
Okay, Atlanta Blaze.
Yep, 16-1 I think it is at the moment, and I've got it already. I've got a good feeling about the horse, but I think it's quite quietly confident that it's
going to run well.
It's going to run well, and it's going to take the win.
Okay, any others?
Yeah,
No. Just and a finishing point, looking at that ultimate handicap chase on the first day, 2 Scottish horses have been declared. Big River for Lucinda Russell and Lakeview Lad for Neil Alexander, who carries top weight. Now his main target is the Grand National. They're both around about 25s.
Big River.
Yeah. I think she's still not got a jockey declared for it. I don't know if Derek Fox will go in.
No idea.
No. It's one of the ones that, you know what I mean, they could run well. I think Lakeview Lad, because of the...
Would you use Blair Campbell?
She could, it's one of those, whatever other racing's on Tuesday, whether a jockey is wanting to sacrifice, you know what I mean, we're talking about jockeys that are running them all. I'm not being thingy for Derek Fox and Blake. They're, you know, if they can go to another venue and get 3 or 4 rides and get their money, rather than going all the way down to Cheltenham for 1 ride technically, and are you going to, unless they are really knowing that they're going to get a place money or something, then are they going to take that? Then again, it's the thrill of Cheltenham, having a run at Cheltenham, but
I would say, if you want to really push it, William Henry in the Coral Cup amazing.
William Henry?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a place, good each way vet, it's inconsistent, I get that. I just really think that, you know, a bit of luck, the horse can go and get Henderson another victory at the festival.
Okay, right, a wee other angle on it. One, I think in this year, the Presbury Cup, which is Great Britain against Ireland, I think Great Britain has a fantastic chance this year. I think if you want to have a wee bet on that, because it's not the greatest, it's not the strongest Mullins. Elliott's not coming in here with a lot flying for him. Paul Nicholls seems to be in great form. Henderson kind of there, but then you've got Colin Tizard. You know what I mean? You've got you know, we have been a little bit down in British racing because of the strength and powerhouse of Irish racing. But I think that it could be the one for Britain.
Will beat Ireland this year.
It'll be very close, I think.
Yeah, but I just think we might sneak it in terms of, you know, the amount of trainers we've got that have got really good horses that have got the potential of winning compared to what the Irish trainers are bringing over. Whereas before it was Mullins, you know, he was doing great. But I think Britain might beat Ireland this year. But I think the quantity we've got
Any other wee sneaky wee bets that you think? Champion Jockey, Champion Trade?
No sneaky wee bets, but I'd like your opinions on the 2 new rules. Do we think they're good or do we think they're bad? The fact that the young lads have got to walk the course, that's one of them, isn't it? Where they've got to walk the course, and the other ones, all the horses have they've been seen by the vets and that and cleared that way, don't they?
Well, I think it's all comes down to what happened last year because there were so many fatalities.
Do we think it's good though? Do we think it's
I think
move forward or?
I think the other thing, there was a couple of things that came up in it and that I think need to be looked at. One, the last race used to be the Grand Annual, and that was the worst race for fatalities. 2 mile handicap with about God knows how many runners, and they were flying at every fence and they were falling all over the place. Having young jockeys walk the track, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think any jockey any day should be walking the track.
You should walk.
I think it's a given anyway. With regards to vets checks, I know.
How does that decipher if a horse is going to jump every fence? Or if it's going to fall? I mean, it could be any mistake. I don't see that minimising it.
I think you have to.
If a horse can do it.
At the end of the day, if you're horse racing, right, there will be fatalities. That you can't prevent fatalities. It's the nature of the sport, and if that worries you going forward, then I don't like to see horses falling. I don't like to see horses getting injured. I don't like to see horses getting killed in a race. No. But it happens, and you have to accept that that's part and parcel of racing. People outside the racing that don't follow it, who think that it should be banned, have their own agendas. Whereas, to me, yes, we do what we can, but we've always looked at we've changed the dynamics of the Grand National. But in 2 or 3 years' time, we might have a Grand National that's a disaster, and we have 4 or 5 horses that die in it, and that is not necessarily due to the fences or due to the ground. It's just due to the nature of how they fall. It can't be stopped.
You could say that about the sport. I mean, how many sports have we got out there that's dangerous to any animal or human? It is.
That's sort of a situation of horses don't have a choice. Well, if you used to follow the Mad Moose, then you would realise that the horses did have a choice, because that horse always fucking, excuse my language, but refused to start in races because it just thought, I'm not doing this today. I think horse racing has a tendency to always be very, very aware of how its public profile is, and it always is in a sense of panic when something goes wrong, and I need to find a way to sort that. Whereas I think we should. The issue, horse racing, horse racing is what it is. Cheltenham is Cheltenham in the sense that there's a lot of people that get involved in Cheltenham who are not really necessarily into horse racing, and that's the only big festival. And there's a lot of people that go to Cheltenham who have no interest really in it, and don't really have a lot of care for the runners out there. Whereas I would like to think as racing fans that we do. I think
it's the same as, you get that with Cheltenham. You get it in many sports. When it's the top profile races, there's a lot more emphasis and eyes on it. And that's
there's not as much new.
I don't think
there's much new.
We just realise the full sport.
Right. I think maybe Peter would agree, and in times gone by, every Saturday on the 9 o'clock news on a Saturday night, they would do a report on what happened in the racing that day. You don't get that now. You literally only get the Derby and the Grand National and maybe a bit.
That's what I mean. The spotlight's the big races.
The profile of racing, although it's the second biggest attended sport in Britain, behind football, you don't get the.
I don't know what you're saying. Made it a lot more safer, family friendly. There's a lot less horses getting injured or killed. They've done a lot to support the sport in terms of making it more enjoyable and not seeing a horse unfortunately maybe get put down or killed at a fence or a hurdle. So you've got to see it that way.
I think whether you agree with the 2 new rules or whether you don't agree with them, I like the fact that the authorities are just constantly thinking about the game, thinking about improving the public persona and just moving forward.
Any sport has to move forward. It's like when you look at Scottish football just now with the issue about fan behaviour and things like that. I think in Scotland, like and sometimes with racing, we sometimes get ourselves too caught up and we panic about it and think, oh, this is terrible, we need to get the government involved and all that. I think that's just, we just get ourselves too carried away. When Scottish football is nowhere near as bad as some other football in other countries, and they don't get
look at the Championship today.
And look at Italy, look at issues that happen in their countries. And I think of all the countries, and I think Britain, more than any other country, has more measures in place for horse safety and jockey safety, and there's so many bits there. And if the BHA gets criticised a lot, but I would say that the BHA has done a lot of good work in that, and that happens sometimes. You look at the Grand National that's been running even seasonably hot weather, they've made some brilliant changes there to make sure that horses get cooled down quickly, and that it isn't all about getting the horse into the parade ring so that we can cheer it. That's brilliant, and I think compared to Ireland, France, and other parts of the world, we've done well. Anyway, we've moved on to that. Any other ads for the Cheltenham before we finish up here?
Here's to good Cheltenham.
Here's to good Cheltenham. We're off to Benidorm, myself and Stuart,
cannot wait.
And a couple of other gentlemen that are sitting in the background here. Andrew and Ian. Peter, how are you been following the sofa? Mug of tea in the sofa. That's just as good, mate. Hopefully we'll be in the sun. But the most important thing is that it is the National Hunt Olympics, and we hope everybody comes back safe and well, both horses and jockeys, but that we get some good winners and some lots of winners.
Hopefully we've given them some.
Yes, anybody that's following the vlog, hopefully if there's any of yourself, remember you can interact with us through YouTube channel. I will be tweeting throughout the festival, telling you how things are. If it's anything to go by how things have already went in this National Hunt season, then I will be crying, but let's hope not. But thank you to Peter Miller for joining us, and Stuart MacLeod, much appreciated. We're off to the pub. Well, we're in the pub, but we're off for more drinks now. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a great festival. CopaLoadofRacing, folks. Cheers, guys.
Well, hear the criticism come.